I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospren, Bibliohowlers, and my Bibliomancers. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Patek here. Today's video will be SFF Spotlight episode 53. Yeah, we are 53 episodes into this series of videos now, and it's not 2 years yet, but this series of videos is almost 2 years now, and I can only say thank you to every one of you for keep on supporting my SFF Spotlight videos. And before I really begin talking about all the expensive news, I just want to say and repeat what I have said in my previous episode of SFF Spotlight. I know that it consists of a lot of special edition and also a lot of Kickstarter campaigns, and that means a lot of money. Yeah, and this video is not an exception to that. That's why I will have to repeat this again. Please spend your money wisely. You don't have to buy every single thing. It is impossible to buy every single book, every single special edition that gets announced pretty much every week now. I too cannot buy every single book that I want, and I have to prioritize which one should earn my money, and I truly encourage you to do that as well. If you cannot afford it, please do not force yourself. And with that in mind, let's proceed to SFF Spotlight. This is a series of videos where I will talk about new book news, new Kickstarter campaign, new special edition, new noteworthy release, and cover reveals in adult science fiction and fantasy. And let's start by talking about new book news first. In a recent update by Joe Abercrombie, this is pretty much the February update. Well, Joe Abercrombie has mentioned that he is practically done with The Devils. The Devils is the newest book by Joe Abercrombie, and it is not part of the First Law world. I think currently this book is slated to be released in the year 2025, but I don't know, there is no official release date yet. But in the update, it seems like Joe Abercrombie is quite confident about releasing an advanced reading copy of The Devils sooner than expected. Probably because this is publishing, and that doesn't mean anything until, well, release date is confirmed and all that. But it is good news in my opinion that The Devils is basically finished, and that means we're about to get a new book, a new epic fantasy book by Joe Abercrombie, and I'm pretty damn excited. He's one of my favorite authors of all time. And speaking of Joe Abercrombie, the next news is about The Blade Itself, Curious King Edition. For those of you who are collector of art prints, well, Tommy Arnold is going to release a 50 limited edition of the cover art of The Blade Itself, Curious King Edition, which looks absolutely gorgeous. And this is printed on a very high quality paper. It is signed by Tommy Arnold as well. And I have no idea whether this is sold out already or not, but it should be possible to order an art print of this on the 5th of March, 20 p.m. GMT time zone. So maybe it is sold out now, or maybe it is still available. But if you're interested, then check out Curious King website. And while you are on Curious King website, well, Curious King has recently released a new information and updates, February updates regarding everything they have going on right now, and it is filled with a lot of exciting stuff. If you want to know about the progress on their edition of the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin, Hyperion by Dan Simmons, and then Legend by David Gemmell, and then the upcoming Before They Are Hanged by Joe Abercrombie, and many more, then I highly recommend you to check out the updates as well on their website. And yeah, speaking of Before They Are Hanged, the second book in the First Law trilogy, it seems like we will be getting the cover reveal of that edition really soon, probably within this month, and I am very excited about that. I will make sure to spotlight that on my YouTube channel as well. But now, before I start spotlighting more special editions and Kickstarter campaigns, I want to spotlight some book news first. The first one is about a new book by Anthony Ryan. The title of this book is A Tide of Black Steel, and it is a new series titled The Age of Red. And well, apparently this series will take place 20 years after the events of The Traitor. So yeah, it is a sequel series to the Covenant of Steel trilogy, which consists of The Pariah, The Martyr, and also The Traitor. I have a lot to catch up here because I've read only The Pariah, which I really enjoyed. It's not one of my favorite books. I still think that Bloodsong is Anthony Ryan's best book to date, but I heard from plenty of people that The Martyr and also The Traitor is a better book than The Pariah, and well, that sounds incredible to me. I look forward to reading that trilogy and then eventually jumping into this one. And the next new book announcement that I think sounds quite exciting, it is 7 Recipes for Revolution by Ryan Roos. Isn't that such a good title? And this one will be published by Daphne Press in the year 2025. This will be a debut work, and it has been pitched as The Bear meets Attack on Titan. Two things that I never thought could be combined into one book, but here we are. This is the pitch of the book, and I love The Bear. I also absolutely love Attack on Titan or Shingeki no Kyojin. In the announcement, this is mentioned. From the start, 7 recipes felt fresh and exciting. Stories like The Bear and the menu have shone a spotlight on the drama of haute cuisine and the questions it raises about class and obsession. This book takes those themes and adds huge-scale action, a really enjoyable magic system, and a wonderful sense of discovery to combine into something you won't want to miss. I think suffice to say that I will definitely watch out for this one. I really want to read something pitched as The Bear meets Attack on Titan. Moving on to the next thing to spotlight, this is the annual Indie Fantasy Funds hosted by Zack Argyle and also my fellow booktubers, Bookborn. And same like always, every year, this is where, well, the Argyles start doing something super generous for the indie fantasy community. And this year, they will help fund audiobooks for the winners. So if you're a self-published fantasy author, I strongly recommend you to check out the upcoming Indie Fantasy Funds hosted by Zack Argyle and Bookborn. Once again, I think this is very amazing of you, Zack, and also Bookborn. Seriously. And for the self-published fantasy authors applying to this, I wish you the best of luck. Before I start talking about Backerkit and Kickstarter campaign, I want to spotlight 2 new fantasy and sci-fi adaptation first. The first one, surprisingly, is for Babel by R.F. Kuang. It has been announced that Babel by R.F. Kuang has been optioned for a screen adaptation with Temple Hill producing. And well, I hope this will reach fruition because, as I always say, when a fantasy or sci-fi book is being optioned, it doesn't mean they are really getting an adaptation yet, but this is the first step. The first necessary step, and I hope it will come true because Babel is my favorite book by R.F. Kuang. I think it is a great dark academia and it features R.F. Kuang's most well-polished writing so far. And after that, we have Neuromancer, and this one I think is quite confirmed already. Neuromancer by William Gibson is getting a 10 episodes TV show adaptation, again being premiered on Apple TV. I haven't read the series yet, but per the official logline, the series will follow a damaged top-rank super hacker named Case, who is thrust into a web of digital espionage and high-stakes crime with his partner Molly, a razor girl assassin with mirror eyes aiming to pull a heist on a corporate dynasty with untold secrets. I have heard so many amazing things about Neuromancer, but sometimes mixed as well. But I don't know, maybe this one will be a great adaptation and then maybe I will end up reading the book because right now, I don't think I have a lot of interest in trying the book. For whatever reasons, I just don't have any interest yet at the moment. But who knows, maybe if it's a great TV show adaptation, I will end up picking the book as well. Now we move on to the next section of SFF Spotlight. Time to talk about Backerkit and Kickstarter campaign. And let's start with the long-awaited and finally, well, it is finally premiering now, the Backerkit campaign of Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson. The second book in the Stormlight Archive series is finally getting the leatherbound Dragonsteel treatment. And of course, I want to get this one. And the price is $250 for the leatherbound edition. I don't think I need to say too much about this. Brandon Sanderson has been teasing this for quite a while now, but if you are someone like me who want to get a special fine press edition with a lot of fully colored interior artworks, well, you cannot go wrong with the leatherbound edition of the Cosmere, especially ones such as The Way of Kings and also Words of Radiance. So many amazing and incredible artists such as Steve Argyle and then Howard Lyon, Micah Epstein, and many more. Even Magali Villeneuve, they are all contributing their skill to this edition, and I cannot wait for it. I already own The Way of Kings Dragonsteel Leatherbound edition, and it will be so cool finally to have Words of Radiance, which in my opinion is even superior compared to The Way of Kings, appearing in my bookshelf, the Dragonsteel Leatherbound edition. And of course, that is not all. The secret of the number 631 has been revealed, and as expected, it is another Secret Project novel, and it is a Cosmere novel. This one will be shipping in mid-2025, and I expect the same production as the Secret Project novels that we got last year. So yeah, a lot of details. I will leave the link to the Backerkit campaign in the description down below. Moving on to the next one, this is a Kickstarter campaign, and this will be my last reminder for this book because I have spotlighted this one plenty of times now, and it is finally live now. This is the Kickstarter campaign for Dawn of the Void Trilogy, the Deluxe Collector Omnibus edition by Phil Tucker. It has been fully funded now. This edition will come with an exclusive brand new cover art by Mansik Young, bespoke interior illustrations by Joe Abercrombie, high-quality premium paper, vibrant full-color end sheets, gilded edges, Smithson binding, and also a brand new epilogue. I haven't read this one yet from Phil Tucker. I have only read the first 2 books in the Chronicles of the Blackgate series, and yeah, I have a lot to catch up on Phil Tucker's catalog of books. But if you're interested, make sure to check out the Kickstarter campaign before it is over. And the same notion is also applicable to the next one. This is for the Smokesmith series, the hardcover edition by Joao Silva. The Kickstarter campaign for this one is also fully funded already, but there are still plenty of stretch goals to meet. This is for Seeds of War, and then for the second book in the series, the Thorns of War. This is a series with smoke magic, meddling gods, and unique mystical beasts, and this edition, these 2 books will contain artwork by Miblood, the cover art, and then the interior artworks will be done by Auna, 21, and plenty other artists. Some of my viewers have voiced really positive opinions regarding the Smokesmith series, and I hope this year will be the year where I finally start reading this series. And the next Kickstarter campaign, this one just goes live, and this is for the Wraithblade Saga by SM Boys. The first book is Wraithblade, and the second book is Wraithforged. This is published by Radiance Creative, and this Kickstarter campaign is to produce a high-quality hardcover edition of the series. You can get the 2 of them at once, and of course this is a high-quality hardcovers, Smithson binding, acid-free paper, and also end papers by Daniel Kamarudin. The cover art is once again by Mansik Young. Knowing Wraithmarked, I know they will produce another great quality books. And finally, for the last one, this is for the hardcover edition of the first 4 books in the Radia Chronicles by Michael J. Sullivan. This is for the standard hardcover and also for the deluxe hardcover that will match the Radia Revelations hardcover edition. The Kickstarter campaign for this one will premiere on the 12th of March. So if you're a fan of the Radia series and you want to get yourself the hardcover edition to match maybe your hardcover edition of the Radia Revelations, then this is your chance. Remember that although the Kickstarter campaign is not live yet, it is still possible to actually notify me on the Kickstarter page to be notified when the Kickstarter campaign goes live. So that's it for the section of Kickstarter campaign and also Backerkit. Now let's move on to talk about special editions. The first one I want to spotlight today, this is for the Grim Oak Press edition of The Summer Tree by Guy Gavriel K, and also The Desert Spear by Peter Webret. Both of this, the pre-order date will be on the same date, and it is on the 6th of March at 2 p.m. EST time zone. And this means if you decide to buy Words of Radiance and the Bound edition, and also the Grim Oak Press edition of The Summer Tree by Guy Gavriel K, and also The Desert Spear by Peter Webret, you will be spending in a single week more than I think $700. And yeah, that is an expensive. So as I said, make sure to choose wisely. And the Summer Tree edition, the Summer Tree Game of Press edition though, it will be illustrated by Julian Delval, an absolutely terrific artist, incredible artist and portfolio, really. You have to check it out. His painting is surreal. And the Desert Spear, it's illustrated by Alan Williams, also a great artist with an artwork very fitting for the for the Demon Cycle series. As for me, I'm not too much of a huge fan of the Demon Cycle, so I won't be buying that one. I am kinda interested in the Summer Tree just because of the artwork, but I have a lot of mixed reading experience with Guy Gavriel K, so I think I might have to pass on this one for now until I have read the trilogy first. The Fionnavar Tapestry trilogy, which I think is Guy Gavriel K's first trilogy, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, feel free to check them out and see which one is more suitable to your liking. And then the next special edition I want to spotlight, this one is published by traditional publisher, but it is an illustrated edition of Norse mythology by Neil Gaiman. This will be illustrated by Levi Pinfold. I think as far as the size goes, this will be something similar to World of Ice and Fire by George Martin, or maybe Aragon by Christopher Paolini. And yeah, I think this will be an incredibly beautiful special edition. And right now, if you pre-order this on Amazon US, the price is $25 US. So I think that is a very acceptable price for such a beautiful illustrated edition. And I definitely will get a copy of this one. This one is being released in November 2024. So still quite a while, but you can pre-order it now. And then let's move on to talk about Broken Binding editions. I have 4 editions to Spotlight, and the first one is regarding the details about The Gentleman Bastards by Scott Lynch. The artwork, the edges, and the naked hardcovers for the Broken Binding edition for the subscription for the month of April until June has been revealed, and well, they are illustrated by Cortina Paints. The cover art will feature the same cover art as the UK edition, but the naked hardcover and also the edges, all of them are illustrated by Cortina Paints. As for the end papers, they are illustrated by Fran Vegas. Do let me know what you think about this edition. And moving on to the next one, this is for The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan, the first book in the Last Legacy trilogy. Although I did read The Silver Blood Promise at the end of last year, I still think that it is one of the best debuts of 2024. It is still the best debuts of 2024. If I'm considering it as the book that I read within this year, then it will be the best debut of 2024 so far, but there are still plenty of contenders that I want to read. But yeah, the Broken Binding is releasing their own edition of The Silver Blood Promise, and it is looking very damn fine. The cover art, the end papers, and also the naked hardcovers, all of them are done by Jeff Brown, and I think every one of them looks absolutely incredible. Jeff Brown is such an incredible artist. I have been a fan of his work for quite a while now. It makes me happy seeing that Jeff Brown is finally providing illustrations for the Broken Binding edition as well. And as far as the book goes, I definitely think it is a great one. After that, we have The Play of Shadows by Sebastian de Cassel, the first book in the Court of Shadows series. And yeah, this is a new work by Sebastian de Cassel, and if you are a fan of the Great Code series like I am, this is finally a new book in the same world as the Great Code series, and I think it will take place after the end of the Great Codes. So after the conclusion of the Tyrant's Throne, and I read that series I think more than 5 years ago. I don't think I remember too many details about it now. Hopefully this new series, well, we'll start a new storyline. Otherwise, I might have to do a second read of the Great Codes first before I dive into this one. But Sebastian de Cassel is a great storyteller, and I love his combat scenes. And then finally, this is for The Mime Order by Samantha Shannon, the sequel to the Bone Seasons, and this will be illustrated by Ivan Belikov. Yeah, this will be revised. I think this will be a newly revised edition, and the new cover art is looking much better compared to the first one, in my opinion, to the first edition. But I haven't read anything by Samantha Shannon yet. I don't even know whether this is actually adult fantasy or YA fantasy. I know that her Priory of the Orange Tree and also A Day of Fallen Night are considered as adult fantasy, but this one, I'm not sure. Do let me know what you think about it. And now we move on to talk about cover reveals, and honestly, I have only one cover reveal to spotlight today. This will be for, again, the new ebook by Pirateaba. Of course, this is the 12th ebook or the 12th volume of the ebook edition on Amazon by Pirateaba in the Wandering Inn series. The cover art is once again done by John Anthony Di Giovanni, and the title of this 12th ebook volume is The Witch of Webs. And yeah, all of the cover art in the Wandering Inn series, they all look absolutely beautiful. I think Pirateaba did a great job in choosing John Anthony Di Giovanni as the cover artist. It makes me kind of wish there will be a physical copy of the Wandering Inn series, even though I think that is not feasible due to how huge the series is. I cannot even imagine how many physical copies will be needed to actually publish the entire series. I expect more than 20 or even 30 volumes. Yeah, no kidding. I mean, it is more than triple the size of Malazan Book of the Fallen now. And as I said several times, I do have a plan to start reading The Wandering Inn this year. I don't plan to finish reading The Wandering Inn. I think thinking about it like that, it is why I haven't started reading the series. It's just too intimidating. I mean, 15 million words long. Yeah, it is more than every book written by Stephen King. So yeah, it is that insane. But I will let you know when I'm going to start reading that one. And actually, there's one more cover review I want to spotlight. This is for a new book by Rachel Aaron, and it is another urban fantasy novel. This is Hell for Hire by Rachel Aaron. I think this one doesn't take place in the same world as the Heartstrikers or the DFZ series, but once again, the cover art is done by Louisa Preisler, and it looks gorgeous in my opinion. This one will be released in June 2024. And before I move on to the final topic of today's episode, I feel like I need to spotlight one more thing, and this is regarding Audible shared by Brandon Sanderson. So If you remember, in the Secret Project, about 2 years ago, Brandon Sanderson talked about the decision to not include his Secret Project novels in the Audible. To make long story short, this is because of Brandon Sanderson's issue with Audible's royalty. And also, this is something that a lot of self-published fantasy authors shared, but they don't have the power as much as Brandon Sanderson to make a decision on this. And, well, I strongly recommend you to check out this new article shared by Brandon Sanderson, but to put it simply, it seems like change is finally happening. I will close this with a brief statement by Sanderson in his article. Open quote. And if you will allow me a moment, I would like to say that this feels good. It isn't what I wanted, but I began to think that nothing would ever change, that even my voice, loud though it can be, wouldn't be enough. Yet change is possible. I know that there are plenty of people out there who are tired of hearing about me and my works. I'm sorry, I do have quite a group of evangelists and we can be an enthusiastic lot. However, for better or for worse, I am one of the best-selling authors in the world. Historically, one of the best ways to change things in my industry is for authors like myself to force it to happen. Feeling this responsibility when I was first talking to Audible about these issues in 2022, I made it very clear that I wasn't just seeking some quiet deal that gave me an individual advantage. I wanted to see positive change for all authors. And while I don't think I can take sole credit, I do feel like my efforts this year have had a significantly positive effect. Soon, every independent author who published on Audible, and maybe eventually traditionally published authors with the huge publishers, depending on what New York decides, will be getting a larger cut of the profit, with more transparency about how that cut is allocated. Close quote, and at the end of the article, he said, "This is a victory for all of us, because happier authors able to make a better living, particularly those authors who are struggling in the mid-list trenches, make for a more vibrant world for everyone." So yeah, I think we can expect good news coming from this. And again, I strongly recommend you to check out the article. I think this is a really good news for all authors, especially self-published authors. Now let's move on to the final topic and also the final news of today's SFF Spotlight videos. This is about Noteworthy release, and I have only one fantasy book to spotlight today. This is Empire of the Dam by J. Kristoff, the sequel to Empire of the Vampire. I enjoyed Empire of the Vampire. I hope Empire of the Dam will be a better book. And this cover art, the UK cover art is done by Kirby Rosanes. The US cover art is done by Jason Chan. I love both of them, but I personally love the one illustrated by Kirby Rosanes, the UK edition even more. At the moment, I'm waiting for the physical copy to arrive at my place, and then I will decide whether I will immediately read it or do a second read of Empire of the Vampire first. If you have read Empire of the Dam, do let me know whether it is necessary to do a second read of Empire of the Vampire first or not, because I think I read that one about 2 years ago and I still remember vaguely about the details of the first book, but I think I would benefit a lot from doing a second read. But at the same time, well, as always, I have so many books, so many priority books that I want to tackle first. But anyway, do let me know about it. And yeah, I think that's really the end of SFF Spotlight episode 53. As always, do let me know what you think about all the news that I spotlighted today, which one excited you the most, and which of this special or limited edition you decide to purchase. And yeah, as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye-bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.